Broadcasting live from the Dungeon Descent on the plane of Dungeons & Dragons Adventures in the Forgotten Realms. This is Tap Tap Concede. Welcome everybody to Tap Tap Concede. My name is Graham and joining me is Nelson.
Hi there.
And Cameron.
We finally nailed it.
Yeah, got there. It's completely immutable. You can't tell me I got it wrong this time. Oh, but you definitely can. This show is brought to you by Card Kingdom. Check out cardkingdom.com/LRR. Order yourself some, well, I was going to say order yourself some AFR, and you still should. But of course, we are recording this episode in the past for use in the future. So I don't know exactly when you're going to be listening to this episode. Order whatever the cool thing is that's out or coming out that you can order or pre-order.
I'm going to hazard a guess and say Innistrad Vampire set.
Oh, good idea. Yeah.
We're pretty good at using up our power-ups here on Loading Ready Run. We don't save them until the end of the game, so this bonus Crack-A-Pack episode is probably being launched sometime in the year 2021.
Yeah, we don't finish Final Fantasy games with 99 heal potions around here.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, God, I'm so bad for that.
Oh, me too. I lied. I just lied to all our listeners.
Wait, if all three of us are potion hoarders, how is it that we've always used up our TTC spares so quickly every time?
Because we care for one another and insist that we use our things instead of seeing one another beat ourselves against the rocks.
It's the group. The group is able to notice that it's time to use the heal potion.
Exactly.
Yeah. The show is also brought to you by you and your kind support of our Patreon at patreon.com/loadingreadyrun. Thank you so much.
We wouldn't be able to heal ourselves as a group without you.
Exactly. All right. So yeah, this is a Crack-A-Pack episode. I've got a stack of packs here that I grabbed from the Moonbase, and we're going to get right into it with this pack of Amonkhet. This was given to us by Commander Rudd87 in mail time.
Oh, that noise.
Yeah.
It's a good one. Yeah, this pack, it's a different kind of, it's like a sturdier foil than I'm used to. Yeah. Anyway, first up, we have the Dune Beetle, because I guess they didn't want to print the word dung. Actually, I just noticed the scale skull in this frame, and this beetle is an absolute unit.
Well, it does have 4 toughness, right?
Yeah, it's the size of a bus. This is some Starship Troopers malarkey.
I always felt bad for these guys, right? This poor little fellow. All he does is just absorb -1/-1 tokens until he dies.
No kidding. Yeah, it's a 1 and a black for a 1/4 insect, and that's all it does, except, as Cameron said, receive counters, because you got to put them somewhere.
Sure, not putting on my Crocagator.
Yeah, that's true. Blocks well, though, which you needed to do, because this format could get very aggressive. Wait, this was the block where you should never block. In both Amonkhet and Hour and Devastation, there was no upside to blocking, unless you had something like this.
It was Zendikar Part 2.
Yeah. Next up, we have a River Serpent, 5 and a blue for a 5/5 serpent. It can't attack unless there are 5 or more cards in your graveyard, but you can cycle it for a single blue.
Yeah, it's like Opt without the scry.
That's generally what people used River Serpent for, yeah.
It was an uncounterable Opt, not that anyone was countering anything in Amonkhet either.
Yeah, the cycling deck was also pretty real in this format. Boy, this set was all over the place. All right, Compulsory Rest is next. 1 and a white for a creature enchantment. It can't attack or block, and it has 2, and sacrifice this creature, you gain 2 life, and the you at that point is the controller, because the creature has gained that ability. So it's weird removal. You're basically like, look, that thing can't attack or block, and then later on, you, the controller, the deal you're getting out of this is that at some point you get to cash that creature in for 2 life.
Yeah, it's a pretty weird alternative to pacifism. Pacifism not broken in its own right, and pretty common in sets. The pacifism's just been printed a lot, or something like pacifism's been printed a lot. But Compulsory Rest was this weird one where if they wanted to, they could get their creature back in their graveyard, which was relevant so that you couldn't totally hose their Balm stuff or their Eternalized stuff, I guess, which made this card a fair bit weaker than pacifism. Quite a bit weaker than pacifism than you might initially think to look at it, right? Their creature's still dead. But it's well, is their creature still dead?
Yeah, and I mean, there wasn't a lot of enchantment removal, I want to say, but...
Yeah, I don't remember it being, what's the word? Not promiscuous. Ubiquitous.
Yes.
There we go. Got there.
I don't remember the enchantment removal being particularly promiscuous, but I was just a devout aggro player back then, sticking in my lane.
It was college.
Right?
Yeah. Next, we have an Ancient Crab. It's a 1/5 for 1 blue. That's it.
Yep.
This is what they gave us to block with.
What more do you want?
I don't know. Abilities.
Must be nice.
Yeah.
Some kind of dynamic play pattern.
It's a crab. You will love him.
Yeah, pretty much. We'll just move on to another blue card. Winds of Rebuke. 1 and a blue for an instant. Return target non-land permanent to its owner's hand. Each player puts the top 2 cards of their library into their graveyard. I don't remember this one coming up a lot.
No.
It's fine. It's disperse. And then you get to sort of gamble on who mills better. It was fine. Like,
Yeah.
wasn't a great card.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that River Serpent can't attack unless there's a bunch of stuff in your graveyard, but that was probably just hoping for, like, cycling. Was there a blue, like, cares about having lots of things in your bin archetype?
What was the blue-black uncommon from Amonkhet? It was like no, it cared about, like, the blue-black archetype cared about what cycling.
Yeah, I wanted you to have permanents in play and then cycle.
Yeah.
So I don't know if this worked too much with any other blue cards, but, you know, there were white and I want to say green or black cards that could come back from your graveyard.
Okay.
Like the Sacred Cat, right? Remember that ability was from this set.
Oh, right. Embalm.
Embalm, yeah. So, like,
Okay.
were there embalm creatures? There were blue embalm creatures, too. There were embalm
yeah,
creatures in every color, weren't there?
Yep.
Yeah, there was the 3/2 bird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was kind of like what you played if you didn't have a good blue deck.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So, I mean, this was at least good for you could bounce the embalmed token, but the downside is you might mill further embalmed creatures out of your opponent's deck, but then you might also mill some out of yours. So, okay, I remember this now. Didn't come up a lot, but it's not garbage. Next up is Angry Kitty. This is the Initiate's Companion. It's 1 and a green for a 3/1 cat. Whenever it deals combat damage to a player, untap target creature or land.
Everyone's favorite Exert enabler.
Oh, yeah.
Or at least I think that's the idea with this card. I never saw it happen that much. It's a 3/1. It can't really deal damage to the player.
Yeah, no, I saw this, like, this could really only ever get in on turn 3 if you were very lucky and your opponent didn't have a 2-drop creature, and then you just got to untap a land. Like, I think I saw this play, well, no, because it was in combat, so you couldn't use it to cast a 4-drop, so you couldn't, like, ramp yourself on turn 3, but I don't know. I saw it do stuff, but nothing that mattered. Next is Pursue Glory, 3 and a red for an instant. Attacking creatures get +2/+0 until end of turn, and you can cycle it for 2.
This is the last pick.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Yeah.
Yeah, not excited about this one.
Yeah, you pass your neighbor to the left 1 card, and it's often this one.
We're still in the commons, but for me, so far, the absolute all-star of this pack currently is Colossipede. 5 and a green for a 5/5 insect. That's it. But the Colossipede was surprisingly good.
This set was really good to Golgari decks in Limited.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because the Golgari deck also had a lot of interesting decision points in it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I found it interesting and stimulating to play.
Mm-hmm. It was just having a big thing sometimes was all you needed. It's just like, you know what? A 5/5 for 5 sounds great. Sign me up. It can block. It can trade.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like, I agree totally. And this one, the one in this set particularly, I think was the first one where we were like, you know what? The green common 5-drop doesn't need to have vigilance or trample or gain a life when it enters the battlefield. Nothing like that. It can just be a 5/5 for 5. That's good enough for them.
Yeah. It can just be big.
And it was important, I think, for us drafters to realize that too.
Yeah. As it turns out, that's the non-templated green evergreen mechanic. It's just big. Next up, we have the Luxa River Shrine. It's a 3-mana artifact. For 1 and tap, you gain 1 life, and then you put a brick counter on Luxa River Shrine. Or you can just tap it and gain 2 life, but you can only activate this if there are 3 or more brick counters on Luxa River Shrine. So 3 mana, and then another 3 mana over 3 turns to gain 3 life, and then you can just tap it to gain 2 life whenever you want. I think of all the things that used brick counters, this was probably the worst.
Yeah, like I enjoyed the brick counter thing, like especially the one that let you draw cards and the one that let you tap things down.
Yeah.
Those were good. This, I don't even remember existing.
No.
It's a bad card, but you could bring it in from your sideboard against Boros. Like if you had too many high drops in your blue-green or black-green or black-blue deck, or blue-white deck, and then your opponent was like Boros Curve Ends at 3, which was like kind of the best deck in the draft format. This is one of the cards you could bring in just to be like, okay, this is a thing that will do something and hopefully buy me at least half a turn. It's not as good as that crab.
You know, you're right.
Oof.
Next, we have our first uncommon. It's an Aftermath card, Spring to Mind. So Spring is 2 and a green. Search your library for a basic land, put it onto the battlefield tapped, then shuffle. And Mind is 4 blue with Aftermath, meaning you can only cast it from your graveyard, and draw 2 cards. Oh, I should say, Spring is a sorcery, Mind is an instant.
Wasn't Mind kind of the only Aftermath card or the only instant card with Aftermath? Or the only instant spell?
Gosh.
I remember reading that somewhere, that they were very they wanted the Aftermath cards to not be surprises for players, or they wanted to limit the amount of surprise you could experience from an Aftermath card.
Yeah. I can't think of another one offhand. They all seem like sorceries.
There's definitely, I think the blue-red one, like the front side, like the from your hand side is an instant, but then the graveyard side is a sorcery.
Yeah, because I remember the blue-red one was
It's like counterspell, right?
Well,
Yeah.
it wasn't. It was like a miscalc, right?
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, I remember appreciating this design space. They were like, there will be an instant Aftermath card, but what it will do is draw you 2 cards.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It's not going to blow up the board if you forget it exists.
And Spring, I mean, it is fine. Like, it's a 3 mana rampant growth rather than 2. But hey, sometimes you just kind of want that.
Yeah, totally in on this card. Love it. Just want to sign up for drawing all of the cards in my deck and then conceding.
Yeah. I think it's probably my pick so far. Just doing a quick shuffle through here. Yeah, that or the...
Colossopede.
Yeah, I was going to say that or Colossal Steve over there, yeah.
Yeah.
Next up, we have Embalmer's Tools. So it's a 2 mana artifact. It says activated abilities of creature cards in your graveyard cost 1 less to activate. So that includes Embalm and Eternalize. So you could do that for cheaper. It also says tap an untapped zombie you control. Target player puts the top card of their library into their graveyard.
I think I saw someone cast this once, the whole format.
Yeah.
It wasn't me.
Do you have any proof?
No.
I remember passing it a lot.
Yeah.
Like the white black zombies deck was pretty cool, and I think the idea with this card was that you could get into a board stall against green decks or whatever with white black zombies, and it gave you another way to win besides the like white +3/+3 and flying.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I never saw this card actually get picked or cast or do anything. Next is Battlefield Scavenger, 1 and a red for a 2/2 Jackal Rogue. You may exert Battlefield Scavenger as it attacks. And a reminder, exert was that it doesn't untap on your next untap step because it's so tired. And this says, whenever you exert a creature, you may discard a card. If you do, draw a card. So you get to rummage. Now, the interesting thing about this one is that this card doesn't itself do anything when it exerts, but it has this static ability that says whenever you exert a creature, do this thing, meaning it does count itself or other creatures. So if you exert multiple creatures in a turn, you could rummage multiple times.
I liked this card in theory. I don't think I ever untapped with it. I feel like this was a removal magnet, rational or not.
It's kind of the exert lord, right? Like it doesn't give +1/+1 to your exert creatures or anything, but it does, get better the more you have exert creatures. It's my pick so far out of this pack.
Agreed.
We have a full art mountain, of course, and then we have a rare and a foil rare. Dang. All right. So our rare is Honored Hydra, which is going to be my pick. Spoilers, because this card is busted in the format draft. 5 and a green for a 6/6 Snake Hydra with trample. And that's it. But, 6/6 trample for 6. Okay. But then you can embalm it for 3 and a green. So 6 mana 6/6. If they deal with it, then it's a 4 mana 6/6 with trample.
I too would like 2 Hydras.
Yeah. This is the number one so far now, yeah.
Yeah. And our foil rare it's another Aftermath card, actually. It's also powerful. Commit to Memory. I think this is the one you were talking about. So commit is 3 and a blue for an instant. Put target spell or non-land permanent into its owner's library second from the top. And then Memory is 4 blue for a sorcery with Aftermath, of course. Each player shuffles his or her hand and graveyard into their library, then draws 7 cards.
This card's great for Canadian Highlander blue decks, or it's probably really fun in Commander too. I don't know if I played in Commander yet, but I like it as a card. For the draft, I'm taking the Hydra.
Yes, agreed.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's move on to the next pack I selected largely at random from just grabbing stuff that looked neat out of our drawer at the office. This is a pack of Battle Bond. This was given to us by Ewan at C2E2 in Chicago.
Everybody loves Battle Bond.
Yeah. Let me in. What's with this pack? It's so strong.
We have been indoors for so long that our muscles have atrophied to the point where now even magic packs are beyond our strength.
My hands
Remember 2019 when I was strong enough to open a pack?
got there. All right. Everything's backwards. That's so weird.
Yeah, Battle Bond, I guess like everybody knew all the packs were going to be opened and then shared. And so maybe they had the thing where they were like trying to make sure it's easier to keep your card secret from everyone else. I don't know.
I guess.
It's still a draft pack. So.
All right. First, into the commons. I've rearranged the packs. We have commons, then uncommons, then rare. Aurora Champion. I am going to know the least of these cards, let me tell you. 2 and white for a 3/2 elf warrior. Whenever Aurora Champion attacks, if your team controls another warrior, tap target creature. We should remind people what the heck Battle Bond is.
Sure. Battle Bond was a two-headed giant draft format. The packs contain, I want to say, a few extra cards. Is it 20 cards per pack?
Nope, normal packs.
Normal packs, but your team will take 2 cards per pack, and it's meant to be drafted in pods of 8 players on 4 teams. So everybody opens a pack, or not everybody, four of the players essentially. Each team opens the pack, takes 2 cards, passes to the left, and then there's draft rounds until all those are taken, and so on. You open up, I think, 6 packs total for your team. So it's like the same, if I'm remembering right, it's the same number of packs and the same number of cards that you would do in a normal draft, but they're making a shared pool, and then you build 2 40-card decks out of those, and there's no sideboard because you just play one game in Two-Headed Giant.
Yeah.
It's really fun.
It's super fun. I think I've played it at, we did a pre-release for it, and then I played it at, I want to say, GP Vegas, and then maybe a couple times at Seattle, because Adam was basically press ganging people into playing Battle Bond because it's like his favorite format ever.
It's all we did at Command Fest, pretty much. We played a bit of Commander.
Yeah.
Adam was... I remember Adam loving this.
Yeah, Adam's a big fan. And I do recall, so that's why this card refers to your team. In single player, your team is just you. So this card still works in single player. But, I mean, why? But I do recall there being a Warriors sort of tribal sub-theme. And so, yeah, in this case, whenever this attacks, if either of you controls another warrior, you get to tap something. So a 3/2 for 3 with that seems good.
Agreed. Yeah.
Any more cards in the back?
Yes, there are. Dwarven Lightsmith. 5 and a white for a 3/4 dwarf cleric with assist, which says another player can pay up to 5 generic mana of this spell's cost. When Dwarven Lightsmith enters the battlefield, creatures your team controls get +1/+1 until end of turn. So I think assist was always just that your teammate can pay any amount of the generic mana.
I think that's right.
Yeah. So 3/4 for 6 that buffs your team for the turn, but you can both pay for it. It's all right.
Yeah, it's an okay finisher if you can, if the pump is going to help you get through an Alpha Strike. I think we ran into it.
Oh, yeah. Next, we have Fill with Fright, 3 and a black for a sorcery. Target player discards 2 cards and scry 2.
This card is way better in Battle Bond than it was in Mirrodin.
Really? Well, I guess it hits both players, right?
No, I don't think so. It's target player, right?
Just target player.
Yeah, it's just
Okay.
after 4 turns, you kind of know who you're going for, and if you can take out. Also, with hand attack spells, it's like Mind Rot is usually the best in limited when you can get their last 2 cards, and before they've had the mana or the opportunity to play them. Right? That's the typical best Mind Rot. And in Two-Headed Giant, it's just kind of you get more chances to do that because there's 2 opponents. Yeah, so
Somebody will always be kind of running their hand out.
yeah.
And it also means that because you have a team that like you can spend the turn paying 4 mana for this while your teammate can be developing the board.
And the other thing is like it's really typical to build 2 decks, one that plans to run everything out onto the board as fast as possible and maybe hold a combat trick, and another which plans to play more interactive spells.
Next we have Wandering Wolf, which is 1 and a green. I almost said white. I don't know why. I guess it's because Wandering Wolf. 1 and a green for a 2/1 wolf. Creatures with power less than Wandering Wolf's power can't block it.
I think I lost 1 game to this card. If you can get an equipment on it, like sometimes they just have to tap your biggest creature or whatever, and like it can be hard to answer.
Give it bigger power, and then suddenly things can't block it.
Yep.
Next, Wrap in Flames. Here's another way to win some games. 3 and a red for a sorcery. It deals 1 damage to each of up to 3 target creatures. Those creatures can't block this turn.
again, more playable than it was in Rise of Eldrazi.
Yeah, Rise of Eldrazi.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you just need to close out a game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like they wouldn't print in this format, three mana, creatures can't block this turn.
Yeah.
Period. Whereas like sometimes that happens in other sets, right? You just get Panic Attack or even Falter, from Urza's Saga. Like there's been effects like that are like, okay, in a 2-player game, like fair enough, okay. If you have enough creatures to Alpha Strike, you win. But like it's really easy to get yourself in a position where if your opponent's creatures can't block at all, you win this turn into a giant.
Mm-hmm. Next up, Fertile Ground. 1 and a green for a land enchantment. Whenever enchanted land is tapped for mana, its controller adds an additional 1 mana of any color.
Always good.
Yeah.
Yep.
Also, always, at least I think it's always good. Omen Speaker. 1 and a blue for a 1/3 human wizard. When Omen Speaker enters the battlefield, scry 2.
Love it.
Mm-hmm.
Always love to flop one of these on turn 2.
Wish I could block Wandering Wolf, but yep.
That's true, actually.
Yeah. Touche.
Crawl Warrior is 1 and a green for a 2/2 insect warrior, and for 5 and a green, it gets +3/+3 until end of turn.
Yep.
Yeah, it's one of these.
You will typically get to 8 mana in this format.
Yeah, definitely. I know I've told this story on the podcast before. Definitely lost a game of, I don't know, what was it, Dragon's Maze or something, to someone having 12 mana and just being like, oh, it gets +6/+6. So you die. I'm like, oh, cool, thanks. Next we have Cowl Prowler, 4 green for a 6/6 worm. Yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
There it is. It's that dinosaur without trample.
Yeah. I'm just going to move right along to, boy, what a reprint. Yoshin Soldier.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow.
3 mana artifact creature with vigilance, and it's a 1/4.
Yeah, I remember this from Antiquities, right? The
Yeah.
flavor text being like when Yota was that the name of the city? And when the city was sacked while its soldiers were away helping, he vowed that none of his allies would ever lack for defenders again.
I thought the flavor text on Yoshin Soldier said something about an army only moving as quickly as its slowest unit. But maybe I'm remembering a different card.
Let me look it up.
We're talking about the Antiquities printing, right?
Right.
Yeah, after Krug was destroyed while most of its defenders were at his side, Urza vowed that none of his allies would ever need to fear for their own defense again, even while laying siege to a city far from their homes.
Wow, you remembered this flavor text almost verbatim. Good for you.
Dang.
I remembered about half of it.
This one, by the way, says poets dream the verses of otherworldly stories. Artificers dream the blueprints of other planar artifacts.
Neat.
So that's kind of cool.
Yeah, it kind of implies a lot about this.
Yeah. All right. Into the uncommons. We have Chakram Slinger. 4 and a red for a 2/4 human warrior. It has partner with Chakram Retriever. And that means that
The next card is Chakram Retriever, right?
that's correct, yes. It says when this creature enters the battlefield, target player may put Chakram Retriever into their hand from their library, then shuffle, and it has an activated ability for red and tap. It deals 2 damage to target player or planeswalker. So yeah, partner with was a thing where you could go and actually tutor it up. And then yes, you are correct that Chakram Retriever, which is this adorable like elemental dog, is 4 and a blue for a 2/4, partner with Chakram Slinger. So whichever one you cast first, you or your partner can go and search up the relevant partner. And this one says whenever you cast a spell during your turn, untap target creature. So you see how they sort of work together there. So these were neat because you could be like, all right, we take these 2 and then either I'm in a blue-red deck and I run both of them, or I'm in a red something deck and you're in a blue something deck, and then whichever one of us casts this first, the other gets to go looking for this other card.
So the draft mechanic was pretty neat. Like the way they collated these packs, the partner with cards are always together so that you could have the experience of getting to, do the play pattern you just talked about, which was fun. But there's another thing you could do in the draft where if you open up this pack and there's a partner with combo, you can take just one of them if you're not like super interested in playing this partner with combo. Like this is one of the least powerful ones. And so you could take like just the human or just the dog, and then maybe you table the other one, but at least nobody else gets to have the partner with synergy, because getting the free card off partner with is fairly powerful. And your odds to play against whoever you're passing to in Battle Bond are pretty high.
Right. So on one hand, very clear signal, but on the other hand, I mean, would they take it?
Yeah, if they see the one card, they know you took the other card, and so like if it comes around third and they're about to pass back to you, you can do the math like, oh, whoever took the red card could be the person I'm passing to next, so I might have to then complete the hate draft of nobody getting this partner pair. The other thing is there's 6 packs, so you might also just be able to get, like, sometimes you got 2 of one card and 1 of another.
I do like the idea of choosing violence if somebody like passes you half of a partner.
Right.
Just being like, I only took the good one because I'm confident I'll wheel it. Just being like, no,
Yeah.
no, homie, don't play that game.
And that's okay too. Yeah.
Next, in the uncommons, we have The Crowd Goes Wild. X and a green for a sorcery with assist, so you can both dump as much mana in there as you want. Support X, so put a +1/+1 counter on each of up to X target creatures, and each creature with a +1/+1 counter on it gains trample until end of turn.
Yeah, this card was pretty good. Note, it's not Fireball. You can't just put as much mana into it as you have. Only one counter can go on each creature you control.
Yeah, so you can only target. X can only be as many creatures as you want to target. But
yeah, pretty common judge call there.
Yeah.
But still a good card.
And our rare, this is so cool because I don't know most of these cards. So this whole pack has been fascinating. Regna's Sanction, 3 and a white for a sorcery. For each player, choose friend or foe. Each friend puts a +1/+1 counter on each creature they control. Each foe chooses one untapped creature they control, then taps the rest. That's going to win a game.
Yeah.
Don't remember coming up against this one. Huh.
Oh.
Yeah, this certainly does seem like it will win a game. All right, Cameron. If we're a Battle Bond team for this pack, can we just pass the partner pair and take the green card and the white card that pump all of our creatures?
I think that would be wise, Nelson.
Okay, that's our play. Graham, you probably have Kathleen in the background. What are you taking? Is it the same cards, or would you do something different?
You're looking at the Chakram buddies?
No, I think we're going to take the rare that we just talked about and The Crowd Goes Wild.
Yeah, I would agree with that, honestly. Just go green-white counters, yeah.
Nice. All right.
Those both sound like 2 different ways to put counters on stuff and kill your opponents.
Yeah. You also can, honestly, like I mentioned that, like the most typical, and I think the most common decks I've run into and decks I've built in Battle Bond, where like one deck is kind of aggro, maybe they're green or maybe they're white or maybe they're red and another color or some combination of Naya, and then the other deck is more reactive, they're more Grixis, or maybe they're blue-white or whatever. But you can totally just play 2 creatures or two decks with creatures and low curves. Like you can just say like, we're going to put our foot on the gas and we only have to deal 30 instead of 20, but there's 2 of us. So, it makes your Omen Speaker picks look a lot better, and not, on the opposing side from those creature decks. And yeah, you can win, especially if you have a bunch of cards like this to pump your whole team for cheap.
Yeah, cool. All right, moving along, we have a pack of Core Set 2019 given to us from Jack and Maggie Lind. Doesn't say where, so I'm assuming this was sent to us in mail time. This is one of those, like, the retailer versions that has the big cardboard sheath on it for hanging on a peg. Hang on.
So much great ASMR today.
Yeah, I gotta get through the cardboard. All right. First up, Knight's Pledge. 1 and a white for... wow, these notably smell... Holy woof.
Uh-huh.
Jesus.
Smell like what, Graham?
No, just like, printing chemicals. Just these... I don't know if it was something to do with the double bagging, but these smell like way...
like fixatives and ink?
Yeah, holy crap. Whew. Sorry, I just got a big whiff of it partway through reading this card. And then, of course, I was like, wait, is that the pack? Let's smell it directly. And that was a mistake.
Yeah.
You going to be all right, champ?
Huh? I'll be fine. All right, Knight's Pledge. A creature enchantment. The enchanted creature gets +2/+2. Sure.
Yeah.
There it is.
Yep. I want to say there was an enchantment sub-theme?
Green-white, maybe? Was this the set that had the really good Enchantress creature uncommon?
Oh, I think so. Yeah.
Just like Mesa Enchantress, but with 2 power?
Yeah, that sounds familiar.
Next we have Anticipate. Is 1 and a blue. Instant. Look at the top 3 cards of your library. Put 1 of them into your hand and the rest on the bottom of your library in any order.
This is what blue players got before WotC decided that Opt was okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right? Undoubtedly, probably a more powerful spell than Opt, but sometimes you don't want to pay 2 for it.
Exactly 1 card more powerful.
Exactly 1 card more powerful.
Elvish Rejuvenator is next. 2 and a green for a 1/1 elf druid. When this enters the battlefield, look at the top 5 cards of your library. You may put a land card from among them onto the battlefield tapped, and the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order.
This got a bit of constructed play around the time that Field of the Dead was legal, I think.
Oh, yeah, right. Yeah, that tracks. Infernal Scarring is next. 1 and a black for a creature enchantment. When enchanted creature gets +2/+0, or sorry, enchanted creature gets +2/+0 and has, when this creature dies, draw a card. So yeah, I think the enchantment sub-theme was white-black in this set.
Okay.
That makes sense.
Okay, cool.
I remember in Origins it was white-black as well.
Next we have Viashino Pyromancer. Maybe I am thinking of Origins. Viashino Pyromancer is 1 and a red for a 2/1 Viashino Wizard, and when this enters the battlefield, it deals 2 damage to target player or planeswalker. It's always going to get its 2 damage in.
Turning on Wizard's Lightning since 2018.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, right, because it's a wizard.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't look like it, but I guess that's actually a staff they're holding.
I mean, they're a pyromancer. That's a kind of wizard.
Yeah, that's true. You are totally correct.
Maybe among the Vishino, the difference between a wizard and a shaman is subtle and up for debate.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember this turning up in Wizard decks and standard queues. Red decks.
Rabid Bite is next. 1 and a green for a sorcery. Target creature you control deals damage equal to its power to target creature you don't control.
Back when Second Innistrad came out and this card was first printed, everyone at Yellow Jacket, every single draft was just like, wait, your creature doesn't deal damage to mine too? What the heck?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rabid Bite's so good.
What's happening to magic cards? Mine just punches yours now? Yeah.
I thought we just agreed fight was green removal.
Yeah.
Now this is just mug.
Yeah. Sovereign's Bite is next. It's 1 and a black. Target player loses 3 life, and you gain 3 life.
I never had the courage to put this in a deck.
No.
Yeah, no.
Even the dedicated life gain deck that was in this set, I believe. Maybe this was black-white life gain, and that Infernal Scarring was just kicking around.
Black is allowed to have an enchantment too as a treat.
Filling slots, yeah. Yeah, it's true. Havoc Devils is 2 red for a 4/3 devil with trample, which is neat.
I mean, yeah, it's fine. It's fine in limited. Is it actually fine?
Yeah,
It's okay. It's okay.
Yeah. I like this card a lot more when it was 1 mana.
Oh, right. Forgot about that guy.
and didn't stay on the battlefield.
Yeah.
Only attacked once. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, it doesn't pair up great against this next card, but then surprisingly a lot in this format didn't. It's Thornhide Wolves, 4 and a green for a 4/5 wolf, and that's it, and they were annoying.
Shortly after Colossopede, R&D realized, wait a second. These green players are too spoiled. They don't even need the 5th power.
Mm-hmm. Gallant Cavalry is 3 and a white for a 2/2 human knight with vigilance that comes with another 2/2 human knight with vigilance in the form of a token.
I like this one.
Yeah. Yeah, this did some good stuff. It was actually pretty irritating to deal with just because they got 2 bodies. And going wide is what this next card wanted to do. It's our first uncommon, Leonin Vanguard. Single white mana for a 1/1 cat soldier. At the beginning of combat on your turn, if you control 3 or more creatures, Leonin Vanguard gets +1/+1 until end of turn, and you gain 1 life.
Oh, yeah. I play this card in Historic Soul Sisters, or I did for a while.
Yeah, it's just like the sort of like self-pump is like maybe a thing, possibly. It's not super critical, but the fact that it can just sit there and gain life and trigger abilities that care about gaining life is pretty annoying.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that's nice. It even does that when it is asleep, because we have sleep. 2 blue for a sorcery. Tap all creatures target player controls. Those creatures don't untap during that player's next untap step.
I don't know how they did it, but somehow this draft format, I think sleep was less busted than the previous 2 draft formats.
It was, yeah.
Yeah, because sleep was kind of blue overrun.
Yeah, like that's the idea with sleep. But I don't know. I can remember this like tabling, I think, at least once on Arena, and like it wasn't always what I wanted to pick in the pack. Whereas like the last 2 times this came up in draft formats like 10 years ago or whatever, sleep was just like in the top 5 picks that, including the mythics or whatever of the set.
Right.
Yeah.
I guess blue in this format had a lot of 1Xs.
That might be it. Yeah.
Right. You cast sleep and then you crack in for 6, then die.
Fell Spectre is our last uncommon. 3 and a black for a 1/3 Spectre with flying. When it enters the battlefield, target opponent discards a card, and whenever they discard a card, that player loses 2 life. Whenever an opponent discards a card, to be clear. I quite like Fell Spectre, actually.
Yep. It's a good one.
Yeah. I remember this doing things.
Yeah, every time you got the trigger to happen again from some other discard while this was on the battlefield, you felt like a genius.
Yeah, yeah. Didn't get to happen often, but
No.
boy, yeah, you felt so good. This next card is just backbreaking. This is our rare Patient Rebuilding.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Right.
Ah.
Right.
Ah! I'm out. Goodbye.
I have I have similar reactions to this card, certainly when I see my opponent cast it. 3 blue for an enchantment. At the beginning of your upkeep, target opponent puts the top 3 cards of their library into their graveyard. Then you draw a card for each land put in the graveyard that way. And it does not take long to mill somebody out with this deck.
Yeah. I remember somebody flopping this against me, and I like picked it up and read it, I think, and was like, yeah, all right. And they're like, oh, okay, I guess we can keep playing if you want.
I think I was black, white, or red, white the first draft I took through this set. By the way, I came back.
Hi, welcome back.
And I passed this, like, pack 3. I opened it. It's like my rare. I'm like, that seems okay. Whatever. Pass it. And then by the end of the draft, I was like, nope, I should have just taken that and thrown one of my colors in the garbage.
Right.
Just like played 23 lands or something.
Third pack pivot.
Yeah. You don't need
Yeah.
any other cards in your deck that do anything if you can find this and cast it.
Yeah. Oh boy. Well, I think that might be the extent of our pack openings for the day. I'm just looking at sort of how much time we have.
Gosh, we really went out on a banger.
Yeah, I know. Both in the recording, out of the recording. Yeah, I mean, hey, it's the rare that made Nelson leave the room. Which, I mean, was also my reaction when playing the game. My opponent was like, patient rebuilding. I just, suddenly, I'm three doors away.
I mean, my reaction, I think, should have more appropriately been like, and then I'm floating somewhere high above the game. And I can see myself continuing to play because I don't know that I'm dead yet. Right? Like your opponent flops this and suddenly like a candle that is burning behind you gets extinguished.
It's like I had an opponent the last time this was on Arena in like quick draft. I was like, oh yeah, Core 2019, cool, and I did some stuff and I enjoyed it and I had some good drafts. And then because this set had Psychic Corrosion, didn't it?
Is that the black or no, the blue uncommon?
Yeah, that it's like whenever you draw a card, your opponent mills a card. So it's like not as busted as Teferi's Tutelage because you don't get the loot right off the bat.
Right.
Yes, this was in 2019. Yeah.
Okay,
So
cool.
yeah, 2 and a blue enchantment. Whenever you draw a card, each opponent mills 2 cards. Right.
Right.
So my opponent had a Psychic Corrosion, but I was still aggressive enough that it wasn't a problem. And then they played their second Psychic Corrosion, and I was like, ooh, this is going to be really tight. We're going to really come down to the wire here, but I think I can apply enough pressure. And then they played the Patient Rebuilding, and I was like, this is hello, darkness, my old friend.
Yeah, that's real. I've never seen that before. That's really backbreaking, right? Because they sometimes draw like 4 cards off Patient Rebuilding.
Yep. So it was like, oh, well, I had a deck here once. Now there's just a smoldering crater on my side. It's amazing they programmed that into Arena. Wow.
Yeah. Also, my sleeves are now deprecated.
Yeah. My internet cable's on fire. How is this happening?
Are you familiar with Shadowrun like lore? It's like if a hack goes bad, sometimes like the like anti-hacking software like routes back to your computer and then like deals brain damage to you or whatever.
Oh yeah, getting backhacked.
Backhacked, yeah, exactly. It's like you see like, big evil Patient Rebuilding Nicol Bolas hands come out of your monitor and just like grab you by the face or whatever.
I may have wandered accidentally into an infrared server or a black server in my time in Shadowrun.
Nice. Yeah. Hey, Nelson, did you fall off your bike? No, I just played some Arena for a little while. The wrong Arena, unfortunately.
Jesus. Oh, boy. Well, if you want to get yourself some paper cards, which are much less likely to light on fire. Wait, hang on.
Backhack you?
Yeah, backhack you. I mean, to be fair, we have tried lighting a Magic card on fire for a bit once, and it was stupendously difficult.
Really?
Yeah, they don't burn. Because I think it's something to do with the plastic core. Like you can like singe them, like you're gonna ruin the cards. It's not like they're invincible, but like, we wanted to have a shot of someone like holding a Magic card that was on fire, like a piece of paper or something, and it did not work.
Okay.
So that's neat, I guess.
Don't try that with your cards from cardkingdom.com/LRR.
Exactly. Just go to cardkingdom.com/LRR and buy your cards there. And then ask for a button, and they'll send you a little 1-inch button. And when we're recording this, the button says big oof, but by the time you're hearing it, it could be something totally different. You'll have to find out. And find out how much we appreciate it when you support us directly on Patreon at patreon.com/loadingreadyrun. Spoilers, it's a lot. We really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
So until next time, I have been Graham, joined by Nelson.
Bye.
And Cameron.
Huh?
James is running the card reader. Jordan edits these. Heather gets them online. And we will talk to you all next time. Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye.